You know, there's a word that gets thrown around so casually these days that it's almost lost its meaning. Greatness, that is the word. People hashtag it, they put it on gym t-shirts, they use it to sell protein powder. But if you actually study the lives of the people who genuinely achieved it, you start to realize something uncomfortable. Greatness is not a feeling, it is not a vibe, it is a structured, deliberate, often painful process of becoming. And the fascinating thing, the thing I want to unpack with you today is that this process follows patterns. It always has. From ancient Rome to Silicon Valley, from the football pitches of Madeira to the boardrooms of the world's biggest companies, the pattern repeats. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Before we talk about how to attain greatness, let's make sure we are clear on what it actually is. Most people have been conditioned to equate greatness with fame, with wealth, with the number of followers on a screen. But that is not greatness. That is visibility. And visibility without substance is just noise. The philosopher Aristotle spoke of something he called eudaimonia. It's often translated as happiness, and that's too soft a translation. What he actually meant was human flourishing, the full expression of your potential, living in complete alignment with your highest capabilities. That is what greatness actually is. And every great person I'm about to introduce you to did exactly that. Let's start with perhaps the most astonishing human being in recorded history, Leonardo da Vinci, born in 1452, the illegitimate son of a Florentine notary, no formal university education, no family connections to the elite, and yet he became the greatest artist, engineer, anatomist and inventor of his age, arguably of any age. How he was relentlessly, almost obsessively curious. His notebooks, thousands of pages of them, are filled with observations about the way birds fly, the way water moves, the structure of the human heart. He didn't just look at the world, he interrogated it. Leonardo didn't separate art from science. He understood they were two expressions of the same desire to understand reality more deeply than anyone else. The lesson: greatness begins with the decision to understand things more deeply than anyone around you. Curiosity, rigorously applied, is a superpower. Frederick Douglass was born into American slavery in 1818. He wasn't supposed to read. He wasn't supposed to think. He wasn't supposed to be free. But as a child, he secretly taught himself to read using a borrowed spelling book. And the moment he could read, his entire world transformed. He later wrote that literacy was the path from slavery to freedom, not metaphorically, but literally. He escaped enslavement at 20 years old and went on to become one of the greatest orators, writers, and social reformers in American history. He advised presidents, he published newspapers, he wrote three autobiographies still studied in universities today. Frederick Douglass understood something profound. The most dangerous thing any system can face is a person who has invested in their own mind. The lesson: skill and knowledge are the only things that cannot be taken from you. Invest in them with everything you have. Marie Curie, born in Warsaw in 1867, at a time when women were not permitted to attend university. What did Marie Curie do? She attended an underground university, a secret illegal institution where Polish intellectuals met in private homes to educate one another. She saved every penny she had, moved to Paris, enrolled at the Sorbonne, where she graduated first in a physics degree and second in mathematics. She then went on to win not one but two Nobel Prizes in physics and in chemistry. She is still the only person in history to win Nobel Prizes in two different sciences. And she did it while navigating a scientific establishment that was not exactly rolling out the red carpet for women. The lesson: greatness does not wait for the world to be fair, it builds anyway. It refuses to make its progress contingent on the permission of people who were never going to grant it. Now, here is where the historical lesson meets your present reality. Every single person I just described had one thing in common: not wealth, not privilege, not even raw intelligence. They had a skill that the world needed, and they deployed it at exactly the right moment. The question for you right now in 2026 is, what is the skill that this moment demands? The world runs on the internet. Every business, every service, every transaction has a digital dimension, and the demand for people who can build, manage, market, and optimize things online has never been higher. We are talking about web design and development, digital marketing, copywriting, graphic design, video editing, social media management, AI tools, and automation. These are learnable, accessible, highly monetizable skills that you can develop in weeks, not years, if you approach them correctly. The digital economy does not care where you were born. It does not care what school you went to. It cares about one thing. Can you do the work? Frederick Douglass didn't wait for someone to hand him a library card. He found a way. The question is, will you find yours? I would like to tell you about something we have built, something designed specifically for people who would like to achieve greatness. Welcome to Misfits Academy. I know the name. Let me explain it because it matters. Every person I mentioned in this video in some way is a misfit. Leonardo had no formal credentials. Douglas was told he had no rights. Curie was told science wasn't a domain. The greatest people in history were not the ones who fit neatly into the existing structure. They were the ones who looked at the existing structure and decided to build something better. That is who Misfits Academy is for. For the person who knows they are capable of more, who is tired of being on the outside, looking in at an economy that seems designed for someone else, who is ready, genuinely ready to do the work. Here is what you get when you train with us. First, access to high quality curated courses. We have done the rigorous work of identifying the best, most practical, most results driven courses in the digital skills space, built for the real world, not the theoretical one. Whether you are starting from absolute zero or you already have a foundation, we have a pathway designed for exactly where you are. Second, a personal tutor, not an algorithm, not a chatbot, a real human being who understands the material, understands where you're stuck and is there specifically to guide you through it. You ask questions, you get answers, you get accountability because the people who actually finish courses and build real skills are the people who have support. We provide that. And third, a certificate upon completion, not a participation trophy, a credential, something you can show a client, something you can put on your portfolio, something that says, I learned this, I did the work, I am qualified to do this for you. All of our courses are right there on our website. You go, you browse, you find the skill that calls to you, and you begin. I want to highlight one skill in particular because it represents one of the most significant opportunities of this entire decade. Using artificial intelligence to build websites. For most of the internet history, building a professional website required either years of learning to code or thousands of pounds or dollars paid to a developer. That created a barrier, a significant one. AI has dismantled that barrier completely. With the right knowledge and with the right tools, you can build a professional, fully functional, visually impressive website for a business, for a client, for an organization without writing a single line of code. But here is where Misfit Academy does something distinctive. When you get a course from Misfit Academy, we give you access to our software called Misfit Architect that provides reseller hosting and domain and can build websites using artificial intelligence. And guess what? For any course you buy on Misfits Academy, We train you how to use AI to build websites through Misfit Architect for free of charge. We don't just teach you the skill, we give you the infrastructure to build the website, which is Misfit Architect. Misfit Architect provides you hosting and domain services, meaning that you can provide your clients with everything they need to get online all in one place. You learn to build websites using AI. You find a client, you build their website, you charge them for the build, you set them up on your hosting plan, and from that point forward, they pay a monthly hosting fee that flows directly to you every single month. One client, monthly income. 10 clients, meaningful monthly income. 20 clients, and you have built something real. This is not just a skill, this is a scalable, recurring revenue business built on genuine value delivered to real people. Jeff Bezos saw the internet coming and positioned himself in front of it. The question is, will you do the same with AI? I want to leave you with something. Aristotle believed that potential unrealized is a kind of tragedy. The tragedy of the person who was capable of greatness but never made the decision to pursue it. Admitting that the life you want is on the other side of work you haven't done yet is the first step to achieving greatness. Frederick Douglass taught himself to read in secret with a borrowed spelling book. Marie Curie attended a university that didn't officially exist. Leonardo da Vinci filled thousands of pages of notebooks with questions nobody else was asking. None of them waited for perfect conditions. None of them waited for permission. They started with what they had from where they were. In 2026, you have more tools available to you than any of those people could have imagined. The internet artificial intelligence, and access to a world class education. The only variable is your decision. So go to the Misfits Academy website, that is www.macademy.tech. Browse the courses, find the skill that speaks to your ambitions, and enroll. Meet your tutor, do the work, earn your certificate. You were not placed on this earth to merely exist. You were made to build, to think, to create, to leave the world richer than you found it. Greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It is the birthright of every human being willing to pursue it with discipline and courage. History belongs to those who refused to settle, who faced doubt, hardship, and uncertainty, and chose to keep moving anyway. The torch has been carried by great hands. Now it is being passed to yours. The world is waiting for what only you can build. There is something sacred about a human being who refuses to accept the ceiling the world built for them. Watch them closely. The ones who wake up before the sun, who carry visions too large for their current circumstances, who keep building when the results haven't arrived yet, the ones who look ordinary from the outside but are burning from the inside. There is something happening in those people that cannot be fully explained by psychology or self help frameworks, something older, something deeper. Because God did not create people to be spectators of their own lives, He breathed into Adam not just oxygen but potential. The same God who flung galaxies into existence and called the seas by name decided that this creature made of dust would carry his image. That was never meant to be a theological footnote. It was a declaration of capacity. Every human being walking this earth carries embedded in their DNA a reach that was put there on purpose. The ones who actually stretch toward it, who dare, who build, who create, who refuse to shrink, are not being arrogant. They are being honest. Honest about what they were made for. History does not remember
the comfortable, it remembers the ones who reached. Moses reached toward a nation's freedom. Ruth reached toward loyalty when logic said go home. Paul reached toward Rome in chains. They were not superhuman, they were surrendered humans, which is the most powerful thing you can be. Your circumstances are not your conclusion. Your background is not your boundary. The gap between where you are and where you are meant to be is not a sign that you aimed too high. It is an invitation to trust the one who sets the targets. So reach faithfully, boldly, relentlessly, because God doesn't plant a longing in a person it doesn't intend to meet. So, whatever you do today, reach for greatness, not tomorrow, not when the conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready. Today, with what you have, where you are, as you are, greatness doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it looks like sending the email you've been afraid to send, finishing the work when no one is watching, choosing discipline over comfort when every feeling in your body says otherwise, getting back up after a week, a month, a season that knocked the wind out of you. There are small things. These are the building blocks of a life that matters. You were not placed on this earth to merely exist, to clock in, scroll through, and clock out. There is something in you that was designed for more purpose, a purpose that was authored before your name was given, a capacity that your current season has not yet fully revealed. The reach you feel in your chest, that quiet, persistent pull towards something greater, that is not ego, that is evidence. So, whatever is in front of you today, bring your whole self to it. Work like it counts, love like it counts, create like it counts because it does. The world needs the version of you that stopped waiting for permission. I believe in you. You only need to believe in yourself. Misfits Academy sees greatness in you, not the polished, finished, arrived version of you, the right version, the one still figuring it out, the one who has more questions than answers, the one who has started over many times than they'd like to admit. That version, this version, you, because greatness is not a destination reserved for the few. Just like greatness is found in many fictional characters, even you can achieve greatness. And I know that might sound like a hype line, something you'd seen on a motivational poster and scroll past. I want you to look at the stories you already love in a completely different way. The reasons the stories move you, the reasons you get chills when Asta screams Matata and says that he's going to be the Wizard King, the reason you feel something in your chest when Spider Man keeps swinging, even when everything is falling apart, is because something inside you recognizes it. Most people think of Overwatch as a game, a team shooter, pick your character, win the match. But if you actually dig into the lore, the backstory, the characters, the world that Blizzard built, you find something much richer than a game. You find a story about broken people who chose to show up every day. The original Overwatch team was assembled in the middle of the Omnic Crisis, a war between humanity and artificial intelligence that had brought the entire world to its knees. Governments were overwhelmed, armies were failing, and in that moment, a group of individuals from completely different backgrounds came together with one shared conviction. We will not let this world fall. Look at Tracer, a girl who cannot stay tethered to time. She blinks in and out of existence. What should have been a tragedy, a condition that nearly destroyed her, became her greatest weapon. Or take Wandering Witch, for example. Elena is not your typical hero. She doesn't have a prophecy. She's not saving the world. She doesn't even try to fix everything she encounters. She is a witch who travels. That's it. And that simplicity is what makes her so powerful. Because from childhood, Elena was told she had potential to become a great witch, not just because of raw power, but because she was curious, she was disciplined, and she was relentless. Another example is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Jonathan Joestar, the original JoJo, is the archetype of noble greatness. He faces Dio Brando, a man who represents everything corrupt and parasitic in humanity. Dio takes Jonathan's home, his father's love, eventually his very body, and through all of it, Jonathan fights not with hatred but with honor. His final act is not revenge, it is protection. He dies shielding his wife with his last breath. That is not weakness, that is the highest form of strength. Then comes Joseph, charismatic, brilliant, winning not just with his fist, but with his mind. He adapts, he reads the situations. We have Spy X Family. On the surface, a comedy about a spy who builds a fake family, adopts a mind reading child, marries an assassin, neither of them knowing the full truth about the other. It sounds ridiculous. It is. Then we have Black Clover. Asta was born in a world where magic is everything: your social standing, your career, your identity, your respect, all of it flows from your magical ability. Magic is the currency of that entire world, and Asta has none. Zero, not a trace, not a spark. Black Clover is for everyone who was told they don't qualify, everyone who lacks the talent, the background, the connections, the credentials, everyone who looked at the gap between where they are and where they want to be and felt the whole world laughing. Asta's answer to that was laughter and not silence. Shinzenwo Sasageo. This is not a comfortable story. Attack on Titan is arguably the most morally complex, emotionally devastating, and philosophically rich narrative in modern anime. And at its center is a question every human being must eventually answer. What are you willing to do for freedom? And what does greatness cost? It is not clean, it is not comfortable, it does not come with sacrifice, without grief, without the very real possibility of getting it wrong. And what is the it? It is greatness. Greatness is not achieved because you were perfect, but because you were present. The people who never stop wrestling with what is right, even in the gray, even in the dark, even when the answer is not clear. Those are the ones history remembers. We have another one here, which is Thor. Thor begins as the easiest kind of person to dislike, naturally gifted, effortlessly powerful, heir to the throne, insufferable confidence. He has every advantage and he wastes them on arrogance. His father takes everything from him: his hammer, his power, his title, his world, and drops him powerless and humiliated into a world that does not know his name and does not care. And what happens next is the real story. The world does not need more powerful people, it needs more worthy ones, Work on your character first, everything else follows.
Jonathan Joestar chose honor when betrayal surrounded him. Asta chose effort when talent was denied him. Peter Parker chose responsibility when power was new and tempting. Eren chose freedom and paid the price of losing himself in it. Thor chose humility when the throne was taken from him. Elena chose growth when the road offered comfort. Lloyd chose love when the mission demanded only strategy. Every one of these characters at their core moment made a choice. And so will you. Not in a fictional world with magic and titans and infinity stones, but in your world with your circumstances, your history, your limitations, your gifts. The choice to keep building when the results are slow, the choice to be disciplined when no one is watching, the choice to believe in a version of yourself that hasn't fully arrived yet. Misfits Academy was built for exactly this kind of person, the one who knows there is more inside them than the world has seen yet, the one who resonates with these stories not just because they are entertaining, but because they feel like mirrors. You are not watching greatness from the outside. You are standing at the beginning of your own chapter. The characters you love didn't wait until they were ready. They became ready by moving. And now it is your turn. One of my favorite poems by Charles Bukowski reads thus: If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it, and you do it, despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be
better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the night will flame with fire. Do it. Do it.